Welcome into Extra Time. When it was announced that Stevie and Jules be reunited after their tete-a-tete last week regarding the throwing coach, which just seemed to be everywhere, all over social media. The first tweet says, Stevie's thoughts on Liverpool going from third worst in the Premier League to second best in all of Europe in throwing possession retention after getting their throwing coach. Do you think that makes a difference?
What? That actually exists? Throwing possession retention?
Seriously? Well, I'll tell you right now, I don't trust anything like that nonsense they've just come out with. I wouldn't trust. You're telling me there's a guy sat in the stand doing all this, counting all this, and yeah,
Yep.
Listen, I've had encounters with such
Individuals?
Yes. And I can assure you, I wouldn't be trusting anything they say.
The interesting thing is, Jules, that you've become like now the bastion of throwing coaches.
yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
like the spokesman for it,
Yeah.
it seems.
Yes. I mean, myself, I work in my house about how to throw the ball and combinations and movement, blocks, all of that. So.
Well, I thought it was interesting,
I'm the
Jules.
spokesperson.
Oh, here we go. Step back, Ali.
Jules, I thought it was interesting, right? Because the one thing about this whole throw-in coach that I agreed with is that maybe somebody could show you a better technique and how to throw it farther, right? That's the one thing I don't have a problem with. But I'll tell you what, I was watching Andy Robertson and they get a close-up of him, and I've watched all the videos and I've talked to people that have been involved in this guy's
Camps?
camps and stuff, and Andy Robertson's juggling the ball in the air, waiting to throw it. Just waiting to get ready to throw it. Now, I'm assuming Andy Robertson's going to get his bottom scalped by the throw-in coach for doing that, if he sees it. So clearly he's not listening to what the guy's telling him.
That's it. That's where we went for all of this for. Andy Robertson doing that before a throw-in?
Well, if it's all about the throw-in coach, then...
Oh, God.
Honestly. We can move on, right? We can let it go, can't we?
You can move on wherever you want. I'm just telling you.
I'm just saying.
Clearly, as far as Andy's concerned, he's not listening to what the guy tells him.
He's in trouble. That's where we're
Well, he
going.
will be.
Okay.
And by the way, a scalp.
What do you
Do you know what a
think?
scalp is?
Well, no, but
I assume it was like a little tap on the
Correct.
butt, yeah?
Spank.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there we go.
Now, when you were a manager, how in touch were you with the throwing possession retention stat?
I just didn't quite have time
Right.
to dig them out.
Stevie, what annoys you the most in football, apart from the throwing coach?
Do you know what really bugs me?
There's a lot. I watch a lot of football with you, and there's a lot of things that annoy
There's a lot
you.
of like, all this hugging and all that before games and straight at half-time and...
Changing jerseys at
Changing
halftime?
jerseys before the end of
Yeah.
the game and all this nonsense.
You don't like the interaction between the two teams before the game?
Absolutely not. I mean, if any of our coaching staff had caught us doing any of that,
Yeah.
he would have come straight up and stuck my finger right in your face and said, what do you think you're doing?
What about when people smile when they miss? You get very angry at that.
I can't stand that. What's funny about that? Missing. Seriously.
Hey, you know that? You know
Try to give it the old... It's trying to give it the old... I'm not really bothered, yeah. Which is even more annoying, because you should be bothered.
Hey, you know who does that quite often? Another guy that annoys you. Salah.
He doesn't annoy me. He frustrates me, Salah. He doesn't annoy me. There's a difference.
Yep.
There's a complete difference. And when you're annoyed, you want to go and punch somebody right in the chops.
Oh, dear.
When you're frustrated...
Well, I'm glad Jules is in London.
Yeah, you better stay there, Jules, I know.
If Barca are so desperate for a striker in the short term, why don't they just try and sign Giroud, Jules?
That's a good question. Maybe they just don't think he's, I don't know, good enough for them. Or I mean, today they reach a new level in the kind of nonsense that club can do with Cédric Bakambu, the former Villarreal and Sochaux in France striker, who now plays in China, who they found an agreement with his club. He moved from China to Hong Kong to take a flight to come to Barcelona and sign his contract. And then they said, you know, actually, we've changed our mind. You can stay in Hong Kong. And I mean, they just messed him up completely. And you're Barcelona, you can't do things like that either. And I mean, I don't know how much he says that they were ready to sign Bakambu either, or the fact that they completely mess him around, or what. But that whole, we're going to sign a striker and we're not signing a striker and maybe we could sign him or him or him or him or him, as was a complete mess, let's be honest, this month for Barcelona.
Ali,
Yeah.
who's the funniest player you've ever played with?
Wow.
'Cause it takes quite a lot to make you laugh.
Say what? You just made them laugh.
That's right. Because we've worked together long enough. If I did that when we first started, it would have been a stare of doom.
No. Lionel Vielma from the national team in Venezuela.
Right?
My early years with the national team. And what a character he was. And none of the things that he would do I can tell on this forum.
Right.
But
Could you draw us a picture?
no, actually. No, thanks. It's just a guy that you walked into the locker room, you knew he had something to say,
Right.
and usually was going to be funny. And I remember I scored a goal against Ecuador, and it was an important goal.
Yep.
World Cup qualifiers, we had just lost to Brazil, and I came into the team bus, feeling good about myself, a game-winning goal, we just won. It's like, from the back, all I hear, I don't even see him, all I hear, "Sit down, gringo, it's just Ecuador." It was that sort of, he always had something to say, and I enjoyed his company quite a bit, actually.
What about you, Stevie?
Alan Roth.
Who's Alan Ruff?
Who's Alan Roth? He was a goalkeeper for Scotland.
Right.
86 World Cup. He told us the same joke about 20 times, and every single time the whole bus collapsed.
He just
tweaked it every time. It was, in general, he was hilarious. But, just a funny guy.
Those guys, though, in the locker room, it's so critical and so important to have those guys.
Yeah.
Because you're in a pressure environment, and you need somebody who can make fun of themselves, make fun of others, make fun of the coaches, make fun of the president, whoever. And it just takes the edge off, and it allows everybody just to kind of relax a little bit.
Alan Roth went to the 82 World Cup as well with Scotland, with Jock Stein. And they pretty much got locked up for the whole time they were there.
Right.
So he turned up, because Alex Ferguson had a reputation, same as Jock, for,
Being hard.
being hard. So he turned up to go away to the World Cup. Now we were away for, I think, 4.5 weeks, and it could have been longer. He had one bag, like not a case, he had one bag, right? Because we were all turning up with cases, and he's like, he's like, yeah, great. Why are you bothering with all that stuff? He said, we'll never see the light of day. He said, you'll be stuck in your room the whole time. Anyway, Ruffy, the whole trip, borrowed stuff off everybody.
Because Fergie was more relaxed than you thought he was.
He was like that, right? We were like that. So Ruffy borrowed clothes. He got shoes from me. He got a jumper. He got T-shirts. He got everything. He borrowed something from everybody in the squad. And so when he went home, he had to buy a couple of cases to take all the gear, because he never gave him any stuff back.
Stevie, who has the worst tattoos of any player you've played with? What was it? Where on the body was it?
I've no idea, but I'll just tell you, I'm not a huge fan of tattoos.
No.
I understand somebody getting, a little thing on their heart, or a little thing with somebody's name.
Little thing on their heart.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you see.
Well, if you lost
like,
somebody, if you lost your mother, for example.
Oh.
So, I don't mind something like that. But,
Right.
But when somebody's got their whole back, some of these players you see with their whole back and front and everything, it screams of boredom to me, to be honest. What will I do the day? I'll get out of tattoo.
Yeah. A couple of things that I came up short with in my career were, well, scoring
Goals.
scoring enough goals. That's
Speed.
First, yes, that too. And neck tattoos.
Pace.
Not enough neck tattoos.
Yeah.
Yes, I didn't have enough of those.
Like Edison's is prominent.
I don't get it.
Jules, do you have any tattoos?
I don't have any tattoos, no.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Cheers.
Appreciate that. All right.
Hey, do you like nails tattoos? Hey?
He's got too many for me.
Oh, you better not let him know that. You'll get your invite revoked from the party.
Final question is a good one for you, Jules. Does the boat behind you ever move?
So he's been there for a long time. And I believe right now he's just happy to be there, not moving.
Yep, that seems to be it. That is it. Thank you very much. We are done. We will be back tomorrow, transfer deadline day.
Hey.
Oh, I think it'll be excitement.
Can't wait.
We will be here.
Hey.
With bells and whistles on.
Hey.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.